So Al Sharpton recently sat down with MSNBC where he rabble-dabbled his way through a bunch of anti-gun talking points. So follow me as I deconstruct this nonsense.
Absolutely, and the fact that she has effective background as a prosecutor. She wasn't just holding the title and dealt with this in California, dealt with it when she was DA of San Francisco.
Al Sharpton is literally the only person alive to praise Kamala Harris for her time as a prosecutor or DA. Literally everyone from Democrats and Republicans have said she was terrible. So if she has any talent, it's being universally disliked by both sides of the aisle as a prosecutor and DA. Yet Al Sharpton is here praising her for it.
So it was a good choice of the president to put her there, and I know she'll be all in. Just 3 weeks ago.
Can we stop acting like this position is going to require her to do anything other than push the same gun control that she's been pushing since she decided to run for president? All she's going to do is get a bunch of rappers and celebrities to brainwash people into accepting gun control as the only option to combat violence, while ignoring the fact that these same rappers and celebrities glorify guns in their music and movies, which I don't have a problem with because I love guns. But you don't get to glorify guns in your work and then tell me to accept having my gun rights restricted into oblivion.
When we had the march on Washington and then met with the president and vice president, she brought up the concern of gun safety and gun violence in the meeting, and they had not even decided yet they were going to announce what they did this morning. And Martin Luther King's granddaughter, Yolanda King, who was in the meeting, a whole segment of the march was around gun violence, and she had the young activists her age, she's 15 years old, deal with this.
So we're just gonna conveniently forget that after his house was firebombed in 1956, Martin Luther King applied in Alabama for a concealed carry permit, but was denied because he was African American? Keep in mind, the same type of racist law that made it easy for the Alabama sheriff to deny Martin Luther King existed in New York and a bunch of other states until 2022, when the Supreme Court said it violated the Constitution. Now, this supposed civil rights activist is trying to use Martin Luther King's granddaughter as a symbolic proxy to praise Kamala Harris for being appointed by Joe Biden to lead an office designed to further violate the same civil right that Martin Luther King tried to exercise but was denied because of his skin color. And lest we not forget, Kamala is the same person that said this about Biden when she was running for president.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
So forgive me if I don't jump for joy when a president appoints a black woman who once insinuated he was a racist to a position designed to further push the same gun control laws of the past that were drenched in racism.
This is the most dangerous time, particularly for young people, that we've seen in American history. And yet you have almost a wall there of people saying, no, we're not giving up our AR-15s. We're not giving up not even background checks.
You're right, but it's not because of guns, because the number one killer of teenagers is unintentional injuries like car accidents. The teenagers who are being killed by guns at a high rate are involved in a very particular lifestyle, in a very specific area of this country, in cities with strict gun control that are predominantly ran by Democrats, if not entirely. And for the record, we already have background checks. You're referring to universal background checks, which are not the same, nor will it do anything to prevent teenagers responsible for most of the gun violence because they get their guns illegally.
We just had the hate killing in Jacksonville, Florida. This guy had an AR-15. So even whether you want to look at it from advocating in terms of civil rights, advocating just on guns, it weighs in because people cannot do mass killings unless they have mass instruments.
People can't do mass killings unless they have mass instruments. What does that even mean? I'm just gonna go on and assume what he means to say is mass killing instrument, but what is a mass killing instrument? This sounds like that whole weapons of mass destruction language, and well, we saw how that language was used. The crazy thing is, semi-automatic handguns are far more common in mass killings than guns that are typically characterized as assault weapons, such as the AR-15. So this characterization of AR-15s being mass killing instruments is nonsense. It's just easier to scare people into accepting banning them because they look scary. So what do you think is going to happen to the handgun once they can't blame mass shootings on AR-15s anymore? They'll give the handgun some inflammatory name to scare people into wanting to ban those too. But what's even crazier, the cops and federal agents walking around this country will still have every single one of these types of guns. And Al Sharpton doesn't have a problem with it because somehow when an AR-15 is in the hands of a government agent, it's magically no longer a mass killing instrument. But when a citizen uses it to defend their life, it's a mass killing instrument. This is all nonsense.
We're arming bigots. We're arming people that are not respectful of the United States citizen. All of these people being armed by our lack of legislation.
Wait. So is he saying that black women are bigots and are people who don't respect the United States? Because last I checked, black women were the fastest growing group of new gun owners.
Horrified by stories of domestic abuse, sex trafficking, and violence against women, Evans' full-time business was born in 2021. She says most of her clients are black women.
You know, I find it funny he calls himself a civil rights activist while actively trying to destroy the 2A rights of the very people he claims to be fighting for. Clown. Speaking of 2A rights, one of the most important things people have to understand is they can come up with all the gun control laws that they want. And if for some reason we fall for it and you give up your rights under the Second Amendment, you still won't be able to depend on the government to keep you safe. You never have and you never will. That was never the point. So that's why I created the I Am the Militia collection, because it's designed to remind people that at the end of the day, you're the only person responsible for your safety. So head over to shop.mrcolionnoir.com where we have the I'm the Militia collection in hats, shirts, drinkware, you name it. And remind the rest of this damn country that you are the only person responsible for your safety. And when they were talking about the militia, they were talking about you. Because at the end of the day, the Second Amendment was written so that you can protect yourself from the government. It was telling the government what they can't do. And in the event that they try to do what they can't do, we the people will stop them. Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.